How to prepare the live streaming of a professional webinar. My name is François Abbé. During the first days of the 2020 lockdown, I had to find a solution for my clients who were already using Zoom for video conferencing, and we wanted to turn Zoom into a professional webinar tool. That's when I came across Vodalys.Studio. I have been using ever since. In this tutorial, we're going to go through the 3 simple steps to turn Zoom into a professional webinar solution. You will need 2 things on your computer. The first one is an internet connection, and the second is you need to install the internet browser Chrome. Third thing we need to do is to connect Zoom to Vodalys. To achieve this, we're going to configure what we call a source into Vodalys.Studio. To do this, we're going to go to the console using my internet browser Chrome and configure that source. So I'm going to create a new project. You've got an existing one, no problem. So I create a new project. I'm going to use the conference feature set because it's the richest and this is the one I use most. I confirm the name. Then you're going to see all the sources appear. I'm going to select the encoders RTMP types of source. This is the one used for Zoom. Then opens up this custom RTMP option. This is the one I need to select. Custom RTMP is the one for Zoom. So opens up this window. You can see on the right-hand side the settings I'm going to use and copy and paste into Zoom. These are unique to my conference. So I need to go back to Zoom to achieve this. So in Zoom at the bottom, you see this more with the 3 dots. I click on it and I'm going to select Live in Custom Live Streaming Service. Once I click on it, Zoom will open up a new browser window. This is the browser window where I'm going to paste the settings from Vodalys. So I'm going to switch back and forth from Vodalys to Zoom. So back to Vodalys, I'm going to copy the first thing, which is the address where Zoom is going to send the pictures from. So I select this address, then right-click, copy, and once I've done this, I'm going to go back to Zoom and paste this address at the top there. I click on it, right-click, paste, and I'm going to do the same for the key. The key is like your house key. There's only one and no one else can enter your house. So I'm going to select the key, copy it, and then go back to Zoom and paste the key. And you see at the bottom, you need to enter your website address. So I'm going to put Vodalys.Studio in my case. And once I click the blue button, Zoom sorts itself out and eventually will open my website address, the one I've just typed. So you're going to see just in 1 second, this is it. My Vodalys.Studio website opens up. One thing to note, in Zoom on the top left-hand corner, you see this live icon and this meeting is now streaming message. This is a good sign. This means that you are streaming your live signal to Vodalys. We're going to make one final check before you are ready to go. Very important one is to check that you got the sound and the picture. So in Vodalys, in the source zone, you can actually see your picture, and then you see this little bar with the dots. This is the audio level. It needs to go to the top without staying too much in the red zone, otherwise the audio is too loud. You see this little headphone there? You click on it to actually disable the audio monitoring. So it means that you've checked the sound, you're good to go. You click on disable to disable the audio monitoring. This is it. This is the checklist. These are the stages you need to complete to actually connect Zoom to Vodalys. Second part of this presentation, the slides. Well, first of all, we need to load these slides, then give control to the moderator, and then give control to speakers. Let's see how we do this very simply. There is one point to note. If you have a classic presentation file, a PPT file or PPTX file, you're going to tell me, but François, how do I load this? You need to go back to your PowerPoint or equivalent and then save your file as individual slides. So you will end up with one JPEG file, that's a still image, like a picture, a photography. Each slide will have a dedicated JPEG file, and these are the files you will be loading onto Vodalys.Studio. In Vodalys, the slides are stored in the cloud. Why is this important? Because if you got a problem of internet connection or there is a power cut, you will still get your files. They are safely stored on the Vodalys cloud. So to load up the slides, I need to go back in Vodalys and add a source, and the source will be the slides. So in the source sections, you can see at the top on the white bar, add a source button. I click on it, opens up all the options I can have, and I'm going to select the slideshow at the bottom. When I click on it, opens up a new screen, a new source, and you can see on the right-hand corner, I've got this Upload Slides button. You see this Upload Slides button? I click on it, then opens up the Explorer or the Finder if you're using Mac. I'm going to select the first image I want to load. That's the trick, I hit the Shift key, I go down with the arrows, then I click Open at the bottom right-hand corner. Then you can see the slides are loading up into the cloud. This is it, 10 slides loaded. Great. I can now move on to the second side of things, which is to give access to the moderator. So to give access to the moderator or viewers or speakers, I go back to my screen, and if you go a bit further down, you can see this Open Slideshow Controls. I click on it. This is the control screen for a moderator. It did open on my machine in Chrome. You can see a new tab. But if I want to go and give access to a viewer, I click the button below, opens up another screen. You can see the difference. Here, I have no controls. I can only see my slides. Now, let's say you are on the different site, even different countries. You want to send the controls remotely via email. I go back to my Vodalys screen. I'm going to enter the email address for, let's say, my moderator under slideshow control page. I hit OK. You can see a notification. Your email has been sent. Fantastic. And I'm going to send a second email. That's for the viewer page. And I'm going to send this to my event organizer. So my event organizer will then forward on this control to the people. So I enter my email address, hit OK, a second email is sent. Now let's look it up. Let's say I'm the moderator. I look at my email. Vodalys.Studio has emailed me. Oh, great. A bit further down, open slideshow. I click on a button and this opens up the control to my presentation. You can see the arrows left and right allow me to move from one slide to another. I can also click directly on each slide if I want to go directly to a slide. This is it. You have made it. You've given control of the slide you have previously loaded. To configure the web player, you'll see by default it will all work fine. It will be straightforward, but you can personalize it. This is what we're going to see in just a second. So let's look at the details right away. So if I go back to Vodalys, in the broadcast section on the left, please remember that for each webinar, Vodalys.Studio makes one unique address for your viewers to view your webinar, your conference, etc., etc. I can start by naming my webinar. So I'm going to name it Webinar Business Vision. Just below this, you see this player URL. This is the address you're going to send to all your participants. I can decide about my language, whether I want to force it into English or in French. I want to decide the number of users, the maximum number of users. And in the live section here, I can select what I'm going to be showing when we are waiting for the conference to start. I want to show an image and background. I want to display a message. So I'm going to say 1800, which is my starting time. But you'll see that a bit further down below, I can decide to upload a background image. So this is what I'm going to do because I think it's nicer. So you see now my 1800 and my image overlap. So I erase my 1800. Okay. A bit further down on this same section, you will see there's the question and answers mechanism I can actually turn off or on. So this is where you actually do it. By default, it's on. The third tab after General Live, it's VOD. When my conference ends, the video is available as video on demand. This is where you actually set this up. The fourth tab is security. I can decide whether my conference can be viewed openly or whether I'm asking for a password. And the fifth and final tab provides statistics about viewers. How many viewers are currently online watching your live webinar? So we have done it. We have configured the web player dedicated to your webinar. We can now move on and check that everything is ready to go before we start streaming live. And then I go to the studio section, so it's a bit further down on the left, and I can decide which sources I'm going to be using. In our case, it's again very simple. The speakers are coming from Zoom, and the media, it's in fact my slides. So this is the way I'm going to be configuring it. So I can check that I definitely have the source coming in from Zoom, and on the other side, I can check that I do have my slides ready to go. We have just reached the end. So now, at this point in time, we can go back to Vodalys and start streaming. So that's the button on the top right-hand corner. And once we hit this button, the system is asking you to confirm that you will be spending tokens. So that's the equivalent to a certain amount of time. By default, you will have a 2-hour streaming slot. Past those 2 hours, the streaming will stop automatically. But if you want to stop it manually, you can do it at any time, of course. Once streaming has started, the preview screen, the preview monitor can be turned on. You just need to click on the play button and you can see actually your webinar going on. You can go back to your stats tab where you will see how many users are currently online watching the webinar. Once everything is done, your webinar has worked out, you can go back to Vodalys.Studio to stop streaming. You hit stop, it's asking you to confirm, your streaming is off, and one way to see it is that the streaming is back to the picture or the slide you've selected for the public to view whilst waiting. We've done it. Streaming on, streaming off. Congratulations. It has been an absolute pleasure to go through those 3 steps to produce a professional-looking webinar out of Zoom and Vodalys.Studio. Please remember that Vodalys can help you stream to multiple social media, to multiple web platforms. So if you need more information, if you need help to do this, to achieve this, please contact the Vodalys.Studio team. And remember that Vodalys is a dynamic startup company and the team will be eager to get your comments, your feedback about the solution that helps improving it, adding new features, etc., etc. And on my side, will be going back to my real work, which is to actually use the solution. I thank you for following this session and see you soon. Bye-bye.